Hello, Year 2. Time to be a noticing bush baby. Today in our English, we're going to be magicians and make things disappear and reappear in different places. Your job is to be a noticing bush baby and figure out where I have done that and what has happened. So here we go. I have a sentence that we used yesterday. I'll read it out. Christopher Columbus sailed west because he thought it would be quicker. Now I'm going to do some magic and I'm going to get rid of one part and make it reappear somewhere else. But do you notice what's happened? I'm going to try and read it again. Because he thought it would be quicker, Christopher Columbus sailed west. It truly is magic. It really is, because our sentence still makes sense. Wow. I better do another one just to make sure of this. Okay, so I've written some sentences as well. Did my work yesterday. Okay, Genoa was his home when he was a child. Genoa was his home when he was a child. Now, if we say some magic, abracadabra, abracadam, make my sentences appear with a bang. Here we are. When he was a child, Genoa was his home. Seems to work. Awesome. Let's try one more. He asked the king and queen for money because he wanted to buy sailing ships. Okay, can you all shout abracadabra with me after 3? 1, 2, 3, abracadabra! And if they appear in different places, does it work? Because he wanted to buy sailing ships, he asked the king and queen for money. It does. Wow. So writing really can be magic. It really can do strange things. It can move it around. Now today's session is all about that. It's about moving around our sentences and changing the order of our sentences. We are working on subordinating conjunctions, and you can only do this with subordinating. You cannot do it with the coordinating. You can't just put a coordinating conjunction at the start of your sentence, but you can with a subordinating one. The ones we've been practicing the last few days: because, when, if. The only things we need to really concern ourselves about are a few tidying up bits, a few pieces of punctuation and editing that we will need. So I've got my new sentence. Because he thought it would be quicker, Christopher Columbus sailed west. Now, I started off with this clause first, but I'm going to change it. We've changed it through magic to be second. What that means is, unfortunately, at the start of our sentence, we don't have a capital letter. So I better change that. We know we need to start every sentence with a capital letter. So I'll just edit that. Because he thought it would be quicker, full stop. Oh, well, that's a problem as well. This is not the end of my sentence anymore. So what I need to do, actually, is turn this full stop into a comma. Because he thought it would be quicker, comma, Christopher Columbus sailed west. And I'm sure you're all shouting at the screen, Mr. C, you've not got a full stop at the end. So we better put one in. So there are 3 things you need to change. on my sentence here. I didn't have a capital because I changed the order, so now I need a capital. I had a full stop after my subordinate clause, but now I need to change that to a comma. I need my main independent clause and a full stop. Okay, I'm going to try that with some of the ones that I wrote at home on my paper. So let's stop sharing my screen and come back to here. All right, so my first one said, Genoa was his home when he was a child. Now, if I magic that to be the other way around, then I start with when, and it doesn't have a capital W, so I better get my editing pen quickly. There it is. Okay, I get my editing pen, and instead of a regular lowercase w, I'm going to just change that to a nice capital. There we go, bit of editing. When he was a child, now you might be able to make out that my full stop is here, and as we said, we better change that into a comma, because a comma can separate clauses. Full stop is the end. We don't want to be the end, we want to separate the clauses. When he was a child, comma, Genoa was his home. And on the end of here, I'm going to need that full stop. So put that in. Check one last time. When he was a child, comma, Genoa was his home. Full stop. Okay, done. Now, the only other thing that we might want to look at, because I've got one more, haven't I? I think there's going to be one more bit of editing to do on here. So I've magicked my sentence the other way around. I'll just read it out. Because he wanted to buy sailing ships, he asked the king and queen for money. Well, my because has a lowercase b. I'm going to put a nice neat line through that and turn it into a capital. There we are, first bit of editing. Because he wanted to buy sailing ships, to change my full stop, it's not the end of the sentence any longer. Change that into a comma. Because he wanted to buy sailing ships, comma, he asked the king and queen for money. Something here. This used to be the beginning of my sentence, so it did have a capital letter. But now, because it's not a name or a place or a month, I'm going to need to turn that from a capital into a lowercase h. He asked the king and queen for money. Again, it's not the end of a sentence until it has a full stop. So better put a full stop in there. Okay, let's check. Check my work. Is it okay? Because he wanted to buy sailing ships, he asked the king and queen for money. Got a capital at the end. I've got a lowercase to start off my main clause now, my independent clause. I've got my comma at the end of my subordinate clause. I've got my full stop after the word money. I think that makes sense. Great. Now that's what we're going to ask you to do today. I'm going to ask you to find yesterday's writing. And this might seem crazy, but I'm going to cut up my writing from yesterday into its two clauses, and then I'm going to edit them just like I've been doing with you. So I'm going to take my writing from yesterday. My goodness, this feels strange cutting up a piece of writing, but it's all for a good cause. So here we are. I've got my whole sentence at the moment, my clauses all still together. Now I want to cut out my independent clause and my main and my subordinate clause, because those are the bits, like we said, we're going to be turning around. I've got them here, my main clause, my subordinate clause, and remember we do our magic, abracadabra, flick them around so they're the other way, and then we will do our editing for our full stops and our capital letters to be in the right places, and don't forget the comma. Okay? I'd like everybody, or me and Miss Pope, we would both like everybody to have a go at this activity. Although it seems strange cutting up some writing, we'd love you to do that because it helps you really see and understand how these sentences can be changed. Once you've changed a few, like this, then it is over to you to write some new ones, but using our skills from today to start your sentence using your subordinate conjunction. Okay, have fun with your making and your magic, and I hope to see some beautiful sentences with when, if, or because at the beginning. See you later, Year 2. Bye bye.